In this video, we would be studying about the control flow. Let's start with an example. Let's say we want to write a program that validates if the user is eligible to vote or not. We take in the age as input. We check if the age is greater than or is equal to 18. We print eligible. If not, we print not eligible. So over here, we had a control flow, and it was controlled by the control structure over here, which determined the rest of the flow of the program. So the control flow basically means that when you read a script, you must not only read from start to finish, but also look at the program structure and how it affects the order of execution. The if-else clause is one of the most used structures for specifying conditions, and let's see how it works. Let us start by learning about the if statement. So how does if works? The if statement is provided with a condition. The if statement evaluates this condition, and if this condition is true, statements inside the body of if are executed. If the condition is false, the statements inside the body of if are not executed. Note, the parentheses around the condition are optional. Let's see an example. So we're going to declare and initialize a string. We are then going to check if the value of the string equals to happy. If so, simply print the string. In our output, we see that a string was printed. And this is because the condition a equals to happy evaluated to true. And hence the statement inside the if body were executed. The if statement may also have an optional else block that runs when the if condition is not met. So if the condition is evaluated to true, the statements inside the if body are executed. While if this condition is false, the statements inside the else body are executed. Note, for the syntax in if-else block, the else statement should start from the same line where the if ends. Else, it will throw us an error, as we'll see forward. So here we want to check if the string is equal to apples. If not, we want to print that fruit is not apple. Now when we run the program, we get the following error. And this is because we do not follow the correct syntax rules. Let's use the correct syntax now. So just a minor change that we started the else block from where the if block ended. And now we get our output that fruit is not apple. And this is because the condition fruit equals to apples evaluated to false. And hence the statements inside the else block were executed. Now we also have the else if statement to specify a new condition if the first condition is false. So we can specify multiple else if condition, and the else block is optional to add. Let's say we have a condition 1, and if it evaluates to true, all the statements inside this if block will be executed. This else if block will execute when condition 1 is false, but condition 2 is true. Even if the condition 2 is false, we still have one more else if block, and this will execute when condition 1 and 2 are false, but condition 3 is true. Let's say all the above conditions result to false, then we have our else block, which will execute when none of the above conditions are true. Also to note that if either of the condition is met, the control will come out of the entire control structure. Let us understand with an example now. Let's say there's a variable called fruit. And if the value of the fruit equals to apple, we want to print I love apples. If not, we want to check if the value equals to oranges. If so, we want to print oranges are not apples. If it's neither of the case, we want to print no appetite. Now, when either of these conditions is met, we simply go out of the control structure and we continue with the statements after the if control structure. So let's say the value of the fruit equals to orange. In this case, our control flow would look something like this. Let's see an example of if, else if, and else statements. So this time the value of fruit is grapes, and we have the same if, else if conditions that we just saw. Note how we have started the else if and the else block from where the previous block ended. Now when we run the Go program, we get an output as no appetite. And this is because the value of fruit is grapes, which is neither apple, which is neither orange, and hence the statements inside the else block were executed. That's it for this lecture. Head over to the labs and start practicing what you've just learned.